Every single day, your heart beats around 100,000 times. That means by the time you finish watching this video, it will have beaten roughly 60,000 more times without you thinking about it once. Here is the terrifying part: nearly half of all adults in the United States are living with some form of cardiovascular disease right now, and most of them have no idea. Heart disease remains the #1 killer in the world, responsible for nearly 18 million deaths every single year. That is more than cancer, more than accidents, more than anything else combined. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to learn exactly how your heart works at a mechanical level, why it fails, what the latest science says about protecting it, and, this is the part most health channels skip entirely, why some of the most popular heart health advice you have been following your whole life might actually be working against you. We will get to that. Stay with us. Let us start with the basics, because understanding the machine is the first step to protecting it. Your heart is essentially a pump. But calling it just a pump is like calling a Formula One engine just a motor. It is a 4-chambered, electrically driven, self-regulating organ that sits slightly left of center in your chest, about the size of your fist, and it has been beating since roughly 3 weeks after you were conceived. The heart is divided into 2 sides. The right side receives oxygen-depleted blood from your body and sends it to the lungs to pick up fresh oxygen. The left side receives that newly oxygenated blood from the lungs and pumps it out to the rest of your body through the aorta, the largest artery in your body. Each side has 2 chambers, an atrium on top that receives blood, and a ventricle on the bottom that pushes it forward. 4 chambers working in perfect coordinated sequence, every single second of your life. What makes the heart extraordinary is that it runs on its own electrical system. A cluster of cells called the sinoatrial node, your natural pacemaker, generates an electrical impulse that travels through the heart muscle in a precise wave, causing the chambers to contract in the right order at the right time. That electrical signal is what doctors capture when they run an electrocardiogram, the ECG you have probably had at a doctor's office. When that signal goes wrong, the result is an arrhythmia, an irregular heartbeat that can range from mildly annoying to immediately life-threatening. Now here is something that surprises most people. Your heart pumps about 5 liters of blood per minute at rest. During intense exercise, that number can jump to 25 liters per minute. Over the course of an average lifetime, your heart will pump enough blood to fill more than 3 supertankers. It never gets a full break, but it does rest, briefly, between each beat. The heart muscle itself is unlike any other muscle in your body. It cannot go anaerobic. It cannot run without oxygen, even for a moment. That is exactly why a heart attack is so devastating and so time-sensitive. Heart attacks happen when blood flow to part of the heart muscle is blocked, usually by a buildup of plaque inside the coronary arteries, the vessels that supply blood to the heart itself. This buildup, called atherosclerosis, does not happen overnight. It is a slow, decades-long process driven by inflammation, oxidized cholesterol, high blood pressure, smoking, and chronic stress. Most heart attacks happen to arteries that were not even considered dangerously narrowed on a previous scan. The plaque ruptures suddenly, a clot forms, and blood flow stops. Every minute without blood flow destroys more heart muscle. Time literally equals tissue. But here is what nobody talks about: chronic low-grade inflammation may be the single most important driver of cardiovascular disease, and most standard blood panels do not test for it. A marker called high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, or hsCRP, gives doctors a window into systemic inflammation levels, and studies have shown it is a stronger predictor of future heart attack than LDL cholesterol alone. Yet millions of people walk out of annual checkups with a clean bill of health based only on standard cholesterol numbers. So what actually protects your heart? Let us go through the evidence. Exercise is the most powerful intervention we know of, full stop. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that people who exercised at moderate intensity for just 150 minutes per week reduced their cardiovascular mortality risk by 35%. But the type of exercise matters more than most people realize. Aerobic exercise, walking, cycling, swimming, running, directly strengthens the heart muscle, lowers resting heart pressure, and improves the flexibility of your arteries. Resistance training adds a complementary benefit by reducing insulin resistance and supporting healthy body composition. The two together are significantly more protective than either alone. Sleep is the second most underrated factor in heart health. During deep sleep, your blood pressure drops significantly. This is called nocturnal dipping, and it gives your arteries critical recovery time. People who consistently sleep less than 6 hours per night have a 48% higher risk of developing or dying from heart disease, according to research from the European Heart Journal. Chronic sleep deprivation drives up cortisol, increases inflammation, spikes blood pressure, and disrupts the very hormonal systems that regulate cardiac function. You cannot out-supplement bad sleep. Now let us talk about diet, because this is where the counterintuitive insight comes in. For decades, saturated fat was the villain. Eggs were dangerous. Butter was poison. This was based largely on research from the 1950s that has since been seriously challenged. The current scientific consensus, supported by large meta-analyses, is that refined carbohydrates and added sugars are far more directly connected to cardiovascular disease than natural saturated fats. Ultra-processed foods drive inflammation. Seed oils high in omega-6 fatty acids, when consumed in excess without balancing omega-3 intake, may contribute to the inflammatory environment where atherosclerosis thrives. What does the evidence support? A Mediterranean-style diet consistently comes out on top in large clinical trials. The PREDIME trial, involving over 7,000 participants, found that a Mediterranean diet supplemented with olive oil or nuts reduced major cardiovascular events by approximately 30% compared to a low-fat control diet. This pattern emphasizes vegetables, legumes, whole grains, fish, olive oil, and moderate amounts of nuts, while minimizing processed food, refined sugar, and excessive alcohol. Stress management is not optional, it is clinical. Chronic psychological stress activates the sympathetic nervous system, floods the body with cortisol and adrenaline, raises blood pressure, promotes clotting, and accelerates plaque formation. The InterHeart study, one of the largest global studies of heart attack risk factors, found that psychosocial stress accounted for nearly 30% of heart attack risk globally. Meditation, breathwork, and even regular social connection have measurable effects on cardiovascular biomarkers. This is not soft science. This is cardiology. What about supplements? The research is more nuanced than either the supplement industry or its critics will admit. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish oil have shown genuine benefit in people with elevated triglycerides and in those who already have heart disease. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common and is associated with higher rates of arrhythmia and hypertension. Coenzyme Q10 is often depleted in people taking statin medications and may help with statin-related muscle symptoms. But no supplement replaces the fundamentals. Regular monitoring matters enormously. Blood pressure is called the silent killer. For a reason, it causes no symptoms until it causes a catastrophe. Checking it regularly, knowing your numbers, and treating hypertension early is one of the most impactful things any person can do. Similarly, knowing your fasting glucose, your HbA1c, your hsCRP, and your lipid panel gives you an actual picture of your cardiovascular risk, not just a guess. The bottom line is this. Your heart is extraordinary, resilient, and incredibly responsive to the inputs you give it. It is not a fixed machine counting down to failure. It is a living organ that remodels itself constantly based on how you sleep, how you move, what you eat, and how you manage stress. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to HealthCore Daily for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.